Hi, beautiful souls, and welcome back to this week's episode. Today, I'm really happy because I have met someone that I feel that it feels like I've known him forever and ever and ever. And I just find it so beautiful when people are entering into your life where it just feels so aligned. And I also want to like a big shout out or whatever you say in English to Luana and Dauntless PR because Luana has been on the podcast twice and I truly love her work, and it's through her that Leland came into my life and also are going to share his amazing story in this episode. And we will record more than one because this is a man who has lived like, what did you say? 50 lives? More?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, welcome, Leland. And I would like if you could introduce yourself a little bit and then we dive a little bit into your childhood and stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. Yeah, and it's really great to meet up with aligned people,
Yeah,
especially lately.
actually.
Yeah, so thanks for having me on. The short of it is I joined the military at a very young age. I
Mhm.
got tired of being told what to do, so I left the house and joined the military. I know that's very went through combat and got to see that side of things. Very interesting. And then broke my neck. I was dead for 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Quadriplegic, had to learn how to walk again, and went through an entire journey that took me roughly about 2 years to get back. Obviously, you can see I'm moving things again.
Yep.
So since I have then basically put the pieces together with yoga and breath work and now neuroscience and psychology and just connecting the dots, which is what the
Yeah.
past 15 years has been.
And I've never asked you this, but like, no, okay, maybe I know the answer, but before the military, you never went to university or like that road, like the
No.
mainstream road. No.
Right. Yeah, I went the warriors route instead of
Yes.
the education route.
Yeah, I get it. So let's go back a little bit in time, and then I want to go into a little bit in detail, actually, how you felt when you were at the hospital and all of that. But let's go back in time to Leland when you were a child.
Yeah.
Like who were you back then?
Little Leland, my goodness. I now that I get to look back on it, I get to look back and realize I came into this existence as a space holder.
Yeah.
From the age of 5 years old, my father was Special Forces Army,
Mm,
and we were stationed in Italy. So that was where I was born and raised, and it was very interesting. I loved it being, growing up in Europe.
yeah.
Um, but as you can probably imagine, Dad was a bit of a psychopath.
Yeah.
It's just the bill with a lot of these special forces guys, especially. They don't fit into the regular folders of what a person is and what they do in life. So from the age of 5, I was beaten and broken by this man. It's one of those availability. There you are. You're there in his purview. So it was just easier to take things out on me.
Mm,
And it was interesting. As I mentioned, I knew now that
mm,
I came into this place as a space holder because I never really hated him. I found that I had pity for him. I
mm.
had compassion for him, even in the midst of this chaos
Yeah.
that was happening. It's like I knew it wasn't my dad, right? It was like living
Yeah.
with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde,
Yeah.
right? One moment, here's this loving family guy who
Yeah.
takes care of me and mom and does all of these amazing things, really funny guy, and just laid back. And then boom, all of a sudden there's the psychopath and
Yeah.
very quick to anger, and if you drop a thing of Kool-Aid on the floor, you're getting thrown down a hallway and beaten to a pulp. And it was just very, very interesting to notice and to be a
Mm.
part of. So that was pretty much the entirety of my childhood until I,
Yeah.
like I said, chose to join the military and get the heck out on my own.
But did you like um was he abusive to your mother as well?
Yes, he was abusive to everyone. So what I found myself doing, even at a very young age, was
Yeah.
pissing him off on purpose to
Mm.
get him to come this way. I'd see him
Yeah.
attacking my mother and I'd
Yeah.
throw things at him or I'd yell at him or whatever, anything to get him to pay attention to me. You leave them alone. And I
Yeah.
was the oldest of 5 as well. So once there were other brothers and my sister in the picture, same thing. If he even started going after them, I made sure he turned it all towards me. Like, no, 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 no. You bring it this way, leave them alone.
Would you say that was an instinct within you?
It
It
was. I don't
sounds
know why. I don't know why I did it, but the age of 5 years old, here I am throwing a stapler at his
yeah.
head so he'll leave my mother alone and come at me. It was, yeah, it was just instinctive. Like, get him off of her, get him over here.
Do you believe, I don't know if we talked about it, but do you believe in past lives?
Yes, and soul
Yeah.
contracts, and I
Yeah.
know that either I was his father or
Yeah.
grandfather, and I passed that to him, so now he
Yeah.
passed that to me, and round we go until one of us breaks the chains.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt that energy as well when you shared. And I mean, uh, I can relate to the fact to just feel that you know stuff instantly and
Yeah.
you react as a child. But back then I didn't know why,
Mhm.
because I wasn't meant to know until later, like yourself. But
Right.
um, so tell me a little bit about your story. When how did you like make a decision, since he's been in the army as well, or the Air Force? Like, what made you make that decision? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was very interesting. It literally, and I joke about it, but it
Yeah.
literally came from a place of, I'm so tired of this. I'm
Yeah.
I'm so done being told what to do and then being punished for things that aren't even what anything that I had anything to do with. And in that moment, it was my thought of, well, the easiest way to get the hell out of here is just sign on that dotted line and they'll take you away and you get to
Yeah.
go be your own man, basically.
Yeah.
Right. So I didn't pay attention to the fact that I was inputting myself into the same machine that created what he was in this go around. I was just looking at the liberation, the freedom side of it. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I'll be out from underneath this guy finally.
Yeah. And
So
how
yeah.
old were you then, Leland?
17. 17. So
17.
I needed him to sign the papers, of course, and all that
Yeah.
good stuff. So yeah.
And how long were you gone? I mean, because you
Uh
were abroad, weren't you?
I was gonna be a lifer. I would have probably been retired a year or two ago, but right at about the 3-year mark is when I suffered my neck injury. So
Yeah.
I was there for 3 years. Got to see 63 different countries though, and
Oh,
3 different combat arenas and all kinds of different stuff in that very small amount of time.
yeah. Is there anything, I mean, of course, there must have been so many impressions, but is there something particularly that you actually can take something, beautiful, or appreciate, like, that you feel appreciated about when it comes to that? Like,
Yeah, to the military service.
yes, the
Yeah,
military.
oh my god, so many connective things between who I was then, who I wanted to be, and who I obviously came here to be,
Yeah.
in that 3 years that was imparted on me. Even
Mm.
the injury was a blessing in
Yeah.
disguise,
Yeah.
but, they trained me to be a Jedi. I passed a lot of the I passed the ASVAB, which is their it's basically like their SATs, right? That you take before you go into college. That's the military version, the ASVAB. And
Yeah.
I aced it. I got 100% on it. So I got to pick whatever I wanted. I
Yeah.
picked air crew and immediately moved into these positions, not realizing I was also picking a combat division and company, basically. So I was tasked to go to SEER training, which is survival, evasion, resistance, and escape, POW training, expert marksman training, all of these different things that they put me through. So literally Jedi training. And it was, now that I get to look back on it, it was some of the strongest. I mean, they are good at what they do. The number one on the planet. Like, no matter how you feel about the United States, like the United States military, my God, they are Jedis, what they train you to do. So there was a lot that came out of that later in life now is real powerful stuff to look back on and realize, oh my God, like, if I remove all the dogma and belief and the brainwashing side of it, like, what they taught me is just ridiculously useful in every aspect of life. My goodness. So yeah, lots of beauty inside of those 3 years, as well as a lot of trauma and all the other things that come along with being in combat,
Absolutely. And I haven't been through war, so I don't know, but when I just wanted to see if there was a lot of other, like the other perspective. But because I feel like one word that comes up when you're sharing and when I connect with you is resilience, but not the resilience like resilience in all areas you can possible think of. That's how I kind of feel you.
That's a really good way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it prepared me for the storms to come, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. And then with such a fucking big heart that you have. You do. So would you like to share a little bit what happened with, the accident?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So it was driven. The reason I put myself in that position to even be hurt is our last combat operation was Kosovo. So if anybody remembers the Yugoslavia, conflict, I was there for that. And it was absolutely atrocious and disgusting. I've never seen so many humanitarian crisis at one point in time, and people being, you hear about oppression and you hear about these things, but to see it in person was, oh man, I couldn't even believe it. So in those moments on our last mission, we were leaving and we're 17 miles over the Albanian border. So we're well into enemy territory. And as we're leaving, we get painted, or what we call getting locked on by radar technology. So you can imagine there's alarms that go off, all these things that are telling you as you're taking off in this slow, big cargo aircraft, like alert, alert, alert. You're painted. So we immediately started taking evasive action. It's like a 12 scale Richter on the earthquake scale. Like, you can only imagine all the things happening. You've got special forces guys in there looking at me, turning ghost white, vomit bags coming out everywhere. Everybody, including myself, is like, well, I guess this is it. Like, there's nothing I can do. I've got a gun here. I've got my rifle to the left of me, and it's all useless. There's nothing that I can do with any of this. Like, we're just sitting in this big tin can in the sky waiting for something to hit us and explode. So you can imagine the helplessness that was going through all of our souls. So that was a very big piece, because that was the last mission on our way out. So you can imagine there were some things like I have never felt that. Even as a child, I didn't feel that helpless underneath my father. Like, there was always something I could do. I could always run or, blah, blah, blah. This, I've never felt so helpless in my life. So when we got back, of course, we had to go blow some steam off. We had to open the pressure relief valve. And for guys like us who've been trained how to jump out of aircraft and, do some of the craziest things in the world, we can't just go ride a bike and take a walk. We've got to do something to get the haunches on the back of our neck up. So we decided to go, I was stationed in Arkansas. We decided to go out to this beautiful lake called Greer's Ferry Lake, or Heber Springs. And we got a very fast watercraft, and we started pulling each other on the inner tubes, innocuous, fun. You see people doing it all the time. But we had to take it to the next level, of course. You know, we can't just be on the water. Like, we're going 50, 60 miles an hour over the water, trying to shake each other off of this thing. It was the most unsafe, ridiculous thing that I've ever done in my life. And when I look back on it, I'm like, yeah, of course you hurt yourself, you jackass. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
So in the middle of this us inner tubing, you know, I goaded the driver and, you know, called him a pussy and all these things, trying to get him to go faster. Well, he did. He went faster.
Yeah.
And then I noticed the skipping became less and less. And I was like, oh, this is not good. He cuts left. And you can imagine it was like a slingshot, and it just flung me off of this thing. And all I remember is hitting the water. And that was it. Just complete darkness, blackness. Everybody that was on the shore they told me I skipped like a rock over the water for like 100 feet, and they've never seen a body bend like that. Like, that was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I had on a life jacket because, of course, I was floating from that point forward. I didn't even know at that point what had happened. I was just gone. I was out of my body. So in that moment, what had happened was I had snapped down on the very top part of my spinal column. The 2 vertebrae did. So it stopped my heartbeat. It stopped my breathing. I was dead. It literally had knocked me out of this existence, and I was just floating face down. Thankfully, one of my brothers was nearby on a wave runner, ripped over and pulled me out of the water and like wore me like a belt as he tore ass towards shore.
Yeah.
And no coincidences. Don't believe in that garbage.
No.
Right where he pulls up, there's a big group of people. So, and the thing is I remember because I'm telling them these things. And afterwards, they're like, how the hell did you know all this? I was like, I watched it all. I watched all of it. So I watched like 7 or 8 of these guys run to the shore where he pulls up, and they all carry me on to the shoreline of the lake there. And again, no coincidence, there's a state trooper sitting right there, taking his break, having a coffee or, you know, reading or whatever he's doing. So he immediately runs over to start resuscitation.
Yeah.
And again, I'm describing all of this later on to my friends, and they're trying to figure out how the hell I know it. But I told them it was a very strange way that he brought me back. It wasn't normal chest compressions and breaths. He literally took his fist, popped me right in the chest where the heart is, and then started playing the xylophone on my ribs very hard, like pushing down to massage the heart back in to start it and kick back in.
Yeah.
And it worked. But I watched. This whole time I was watching. It was the most peaceful experience I'd ever had in my life. There were no thoughts, no wants. I didn't care about any of it. There was no audio. It was just watching. It was just being, isness, basically. So it was like literally just watching things without having any connection to want or desire or care of the situation. It was like literally watching a silent movie. It was crazy.
Wow.
So they get me back.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, from that very peaceful experience, like I think one of the best ways I've ever described it is it felt like I came home. You know, imagine like a 12 to 14 hour work day. And when you walk through the door, sit on your couch and take your shoes off, that you feel, that's what it felt like. It was like, oh my God, this is nice. So of course, extreme contrast. I slam down into my body. They bring me back, and I'm in the ambulance, and I wake up to this horse collar around my neck. All I can feel is very extreme pain at the very base of my skull, called the occipital lobe right there, the occipital bone. And I feel like I'm flashbanged. I'm trying to like tune in. It sounded like, you know, the Peanuts adults, wah, 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 in Charlie Brown. That's what it sounded like. I couldn't really make out what he was saying, but finally things started to come back in. I could hear him say, Holgate, can you feel that? Which is my last name. Holgate, can you feel that? Holgate, can you feel that? And eventually I was like, what are you talking about? I'm confused. I'm blinking my eyes, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Why does this hurt? And when I ask him, like, what are you talking about? He says, oh no. And you don't want to hear your EMT say that. Like, that's a horrible thing to say. Don't do that. Because right then I tuned into the fact, like, Why is it hard to breathe? It feels like an elephant is sitting on my chest. Holy shit, I can't feel my arms. Where are my legs? What's going on? And that was when I tuned into, I can't feel anything underneath my Adam's apple. When I swallow, I can barely swallow all the way. I can barely breathe by myself. And that's when I tuned into, I can't feel anything under my neck. Shit, what is going on? So you can imagine the terror. It was like I was right back in that situation again that just happened days prior. Helpless, absolutely helpless, prisoner in my own body, prisoner in my own mind, nothing I can do. So yeah, that was the trip. And then of course they're getting me to the hospital. And they found out after CT scans and an MRI that I had a silver dollar size contusion right at C1 and C2. So it made sense why I died, why my body completely shut down. I took the brain stem and the top part of the spinal column, just completely jammed in on it and created a bruise. So everything shut down inside of the body. And you can imagine the story that was coming from the doctors after all that. It was not very hopeful. It wasn't very positive. Like, hey, you're gonna be just fine. No, it was absolute opposite. You know, you can't heal nerve tissue. This is 1999. I'm a neuroscientist now, and we're still figuring our way out through the weeds of neuroscience. So you can imagine back then that it was a very bleak outlook that they gave me.
But do you remember, like, the next day what your thoughts were? Like, were you in shock, or did you go into the warrior mode? Right.
I didn't go. I wish I did, but obviously it was part of my story. I went into the victim mode right away. And this is why the doctor I am training to become right now, as I work into my doctorate in neurochemistry, is one of hope. Because these doctors, when they came into the room, just vacuumed it right out of the air. Like, you know, you're stuck with this. We're going to put in wheelchair ramps. We're looking at surgery. You're stuck like this for life. So these guys, as far as I was concerned, were the authority. They know what they're talking about. So as far as what somebody, the authority, walked into my room told me was, your life is over. Just get used to it.
And that will be the truth.
Exactly. And then their truth now became my truth. So for 2 days, I was asking friends to kill me. I was bawling my eyes out. I didn't want to live anymore. I refused to eat. It was horrible, because I thought to myself, hold on, if I'm 20 years old, like just shy of my 20th birthday, I don't want to live life like this. Are you kidding me?
No.
So yeah, it was a very woe is me for the first couple of days. Thankfully, eventually that warrior mode kicked in. You know, I'm listening to this doctor talk about putting in wheelchair ramps, and we're going to get you a special wheelchair. And don't worry, you'll have, 24-hour nurse support and blah, blah, blah. All of these things that they feel give you comfort. And to me, it was like, that sounds horrible. That sounds horrible. That sounds horrible. Like, so it started to really build up in me. And that's when the training came in. All the Jedi stuff they had put me through started happening in my head. When you're in SEER training, when you're in POW, which is prisoner of war training, they're literally beating you. They're teaching you how to sustain the enemy holding you as a prisoner, and how you are supposed to continue to try to evade, try to escape. Don't give up. You're not forgotten. We're coming for you. We're coming for you. All of those things started to play in my head. And then eventually it got to the point where I told the doctor to go F himself, like, just get out of my face. I don't want to hear it anymore. And one of the times that I yelled at him, I got this energy that went down the side of my scalene to the very edges of my shoulders, and my eyes popped open. I was like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Fuck off. I've got things to work on, because something just happened you told me was never going to happen again and was not possible. So just that little spark right there changed everything about day 3.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also a circle, because I believe that we are meant to go stuff. go
Yep.
through stuff. I mean,
Yep.
and some people, that's a different topic with law of attraction and all that. It's not that, but more for me, it's like everything is predetermined. Then the how will show up because,
Yep.
of course, it's on this kind of earthly realm. If I take that road, it will play out a different way, but it can still be the same, you know, kind of scenario, just a
Exactly.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like you said yes to the military without knowing that all that training and that you were also kind of, it feels like, I say effortlessly, I don't dim all the work you had to put down and, training, but to then later go through this and
Right.
like it's, and then what we are going to talk about soon. But I mean, it's I think it's also a beautiful story, if I
Thank
can
you.
say.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, it was like a training ground. It really was.
Yes.
Everything in my childhood, even
Yeah.
before the military training, was
Yeah.
preparing me for that.
Yeah. And also for the listeners, I'm not laughing um at your story or dimming anything. I just want to be clear.
Sure.
It's just that I know that you've been healing a lot, because otherwise you wouldn't be sitting here and doing what you're actually doing in the world right now.
Yeah.
That also to not be trapped in the wounded spaces. So that's why I'm kind of
I totally
relate.
get it. I'm the same way. We laugh because we get the cosmic joke. Like you don't get
Yeah,
the realization unless you go through the tough times.
exactly. Yeah.
You don't
So
remember unless you forget.
no. And so okay, so forward in time, like when you said 2 years, it took you 2 years to start
Mhm.
to walk again.
Mhm. Yeah.
These 2 years, was it? What did you feel then? Like, were you in? Was it back and forth? Like victim and warrior, and like, because I mean,
Yeah, I get what you mean. There were some victim moments, but not many. There were
no,
more warrior moments moving forward, especially after that happened.
yeah,
The next day, when the
mm,
student is ready, the teacher shall appear, right? The
yep,
universe dropped this physical therapist into my life who in
yeah,
1999 was the one male physical therapist that the military could find, which already is a rarity. And then he
yeah,
was also an Ashtangi. So he taught Ashtanga yoga, and so he was a very rigid breath worker and yogi, and that
yeah,
was his practice. Yes, he was a physiotherapist, but his root of healing was yoga. And he walked
yeah,
into the room talking to me about, this may sound weird, but besides your regular PT, we're going to do something called yoga. And of course, I'm just shy of my 20th birthday. I'm like, I'm not some hot 20-year-old chick. Like, what? And if I could move my legs, I'd kick you in the throat right now. That's a really funny joke.
yeah,
Yoga. Like you're talking to a quadriplegic about yoga. And I noticed his demeanor didn't change. I was like, oh, you're fucking serious. Like I
mm,
thought it was a joke. Like one of
yeah,
my friends like sent him in, like, ha ha ha, we're gonna get Leland. Like I thought it was a joke until I realized his face didn't change. I was like, oh, you're serious. Holy shit. Like, how the hell am I gonna do yoga? And that's when the questions started. And that's when he started talking to me about yoga is 95% pranayama. That is the
mm,
start of it all. It is breath that
mm,
controls the mind and the life force of
mm,
absolutely everything inside of you. So, okay, I calmed down a little bit when he kind of explained that. And, of
mm,
course, I was still very skeptical. Like, you're telling
mm,
me breath is
mm,
going to do something for me right now. Like, I've been breathing my whole life. Okay, great. I'm listening to you, though. Go ahead.
mm,
So he takes me through my first round of something called Bastrika inside of yoga. For anybody that knows yoga, Bastrika is very similar to um, kind of very similar to some of the breath of fire stuff that you've seen with Wim Hof or
yep,
any of these other folks, even the breath work that I teach. So very rapid form of breathing. And then you do something called a kumbhaka, or a hold, which is where you hold your breath. And he had me hold my breath. Boom. I was in that place again. I was like, whoa, holy shit. How did I get here? I was back in that welcome home place where it was just bliss and my body felt good. And then when I came back into my body, I had these little, like little zaps. It wasn't a whole bunch of energy, but just in the very top part of my chest, like these little zaps of static electricity. I was like, what the fuck? I can feel things in my chest right now. Like, what did you just do? Do that again. So he took me through another round, and the same thing
I would
happened.
say the same. I would say,
oh my, yeah, I was like a 5-year-old kid. I was like, again. So he took me through a second round, and boom, I was back in that place again, just blissed out. And then I landed back in my body. And again, I started feeling all these things in areas they told me was never going to come back. And you've lost it all. So I was like, oh, okay. So from that point forward, it became a game for me.
Yeah.
Like I was 7-8 hours out of the day. I mean, where else was I going to go? What else did I have to do? I was having people feed me at this point in time. So I just decided, that's it. I'm digging in on this like a tick. And that became the entirety of my 2 years. And yeah, there were some tough parts. Of course, healing isn't linear. I would lose certain function that I gained, and of course had to deal with the mental aspect. But within less than 2 months, I'd say like right about 50-ish days, I was able to move my arms. I was able to sit myself up. I mean, I was at the point where I could almost feed myself within the first 50 days, less than 2 months. So I already got back like 60% of my upper body. So I was like, well, I'm not going to get it back, huh, doc? So yeah, there were some, of course, rough moments during, because you would always, like I said, you'd gain a little bit of ground, and then you would back up, and, I'd feel things in the top of my thighs, and then it would disappear, and I'd have to deal with it. It's okay. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Nervous system.
Exactly. It's like you're retraining your nervous system to come back to life. So just be patient. It's going to take a little time. So yeah, it was.
But imagine if you would have stayed in victim mindset and consciousness.
I get, actually, the universe gives me the blessing of viewing what that would have looked like by working with spinal cord injuries now as a neuroscientist. I work with people that have been paralyzed for over 10 years. Yeah. And they've done nothing because the doctor walked into the room and said, "You're screwed." Yeah. And there they are sitting in a chair 10 years later with no changes, no anything. However, here's the funny part. They start working with me. They start doing breath work. We start getting them into yoga, and pieces start coming back, even though they've been sitting in the chair for 10 plus years. All of a sudden they start feeling things again. So imagine if they didn't have that doctor walk in the room and vacuum the hope right out, and they would have started right away like I did. They would have potentially not had near as much atrophy and damage and all these other things, and they could have rewired their nervous system too. So I get a view. It's like the universe is like, yeah, that could have been you if you gave in to the victim, woe is me.
And also, I want to tap into the fact of authorities. It doesn't have to be doctors. It can be other
parents.
But how we've been so conditioned. I talk with my friends about it. When it comes to the police, it's like I've been feeded with being scared of the police, and now I'm like, aren't they supposed to protect us? Like, isn't that what it's all about? And then you are, and I said you are, but I know so many people feel the same way when they see a police car. If you're out driving, something shifts in your body.
Right. Yeah. You look at your speed. You look at like, what am I doing? Yeah. You have this. Yeah. Yep. I know what you mean. Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring that up. We can continue that route later on.
Sure. That's a good conversation to have for people. Yeah,
exactly. But I find it very interesting that okay, I just going to say to that we've been so like brainwashed and mind controlled of not listening to our like our own truth and body and mind and energy, and because it is, even if you were there and it was your experience, it's still your decisions about your body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. To your point, think about it. 90% of your life has been spent weighing what they are going to think about your next course of action.
Yeah.
What are they going to say about me doing this regimen of healing? What are they going to tell me about this course of action? We spend so much of our life thinking, well, hopefully this is the right thing to do. Hopefully they agree with me. Hopefully they don't tell me I'm crazy. And we have, to your point, been brainwashed to like give our power away.
Exactly.
It's not how it works. It's
No.
not how it works.
It's not. I had to like almost a fight with my dentist because I was like, I'm right now started to use coconut oil and coconut toothbrush.
Yeah.
And she was like, not her, but the other woman. She was standing like in my face, basically,
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
screaming. It felt like she was screaming at me that I needed to. And I was like, breathe, Yaya, breathe, breathe, breathe.
Yeah.
And like, that was very interesting. That was last December. So if that would have happened to me prior in time, I would probably not been able to, be in my power.
Right. Right. Yeah. You possibly would have followed their direction. I think
Yeah.
it's funny you bring up dentistry because they immediately want to do root canals and all these things. And in December, when my dentist told me we're going to do a root canal, I was like, no, you're not. And they had this conversation just like you're talking about, where they literally wanted to yell at me like I was an idiot and I was unsafe. And then they found out I was a neuroscientist, and you should have seen their mouths just drop like, oh, I just said all these things to a guy that knows neurochemistry, knows the body and everything else. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to let you create a dead tooth in my body next to a whole network of nerves.
No.
Carry on.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. So let's see. Where are we? Okay. So after that, when was it that you started to with the breathwork journey and your, I would guess, self, maybe you're kind of unfolding everything and starting to, I don't know, connect the pieces out there, the dots.
Yeah, and I think unfolding is the best way to say it, because the way I talk about it is I hadn't found the philosophical and mental side of yoga just yet. I saw it as an epic tool, right? Here I was, this Jedi that was trained to use this body as a tool and also your mind as a tool. So I just used it for its physical aspect, gaining my body back, retraining the nervous system. But I hadn't yet used the yamas and niyamas, the internal and external ways of being, the 10 commandments of yoga, basically, for those that don't know.
Yeah.
So I hadn't started tuning into these things just yet. So you can imagine, after I limped away from what I had dealt with, I just went back to life. And what do you know? All of these mental aspects that I hadn't handled from childhood, from combat, from all of these things just raw came flooding in. So you can imagine I went the route most all of us veterans do. I went down the psychiatric road, where they had me on 13 different medications at a certain point, and benzos and antipsychotics and antidepressants. And it worked for a very small amount of time. And then next thing you know, I was just a zombie, a complete zombie, lacking feeling, lacking emotion, didn't care about anything. And the problem with that route is eventually your body builds up tolerances to these things. And then you need higher doses. And then you need more doses. And then you need so many that it's unsustainable and they can't fill your prescriptions. So many of us do what? We go to alcohol or we go to drugs, because those two things are super, super available everywhere in the world. And that was a route that I had took. So for about a decade, I was just vacuumed into this self-created shame of existence and woe is me yet again, where I was just, what could I get to numb what I was feeling?
Yeah.
It didn't matter if I could shoot it up, if I could smoke it, if I could drink it, as long as it killed what was happening right now, give it to me. So 10 years of extreme alcoholism and drug addiction to the worst chemicals and compounds out there, heroin, crack, all of it. And it led to homelessness. It led to, like, typical, I just completely cut everyone out of my life. Or, in those moments, you're not a very good person. So you'll lie, you'll steal, you'll do whatever you have to do to get your next fix. So you can imagine, I pushed all the friends out of my life, all the family out of my life. I burnt all the bridges that were around me, found myself on this very solitude island of woe is me, I'm the victim. And thankfully, though I was homeless and kind of living on the streets there for several weeks, I had that one friend that took pity on me. We always have that one friend. And he was driving past where I was sleeping behind this empty house on a dilapidated couch, just out there sleeping. And he pulls by and he's like, Holgate? He was surprised, of course, to see how far I had fallen. Calls me over to the truck and tells me to get in. And we have a conversation. It's about 20 minutes to get to his house. And I just kind of broke down, told him everything that was going on, bawled my eyes out and talked about everything that had happened. We got back to his place and he told me, I have a place to stay. I have a spare room. I'll take care of you on the food side of things. You've got one job, and that's to get clean. If I find out you're drinking, if I find out you've taken drugs, you're out. I love you, and I'm going to help you through this. But if you fuck this up, you're gone. Like, I can't have you in my life. There's too many good things happening. So thank God he was there. And I went through an 8 weeks of, it was absolute hell. And I tell nobody.
I was going to say, did you do it yourself or?
I did, and I tell everybody as a psychologist, as somebody that has trained as a psychologist and a neuroscientist, do not do it the way that I did. That was ridiculous. I went cold turkey off of some of the strongest substances, between all the medications and the heroin and all these other things. Like, I was elbow battle crawling to the bathroom for 6 to 8 weeks. It was absolute hell. Do not do that. No. Get help if you need to come off of these things. Like, get somebody to help you wean yourself off, because it was absolute hell for it. But if it wasn't, the breath came back, because if it wasn't for the breath, there's no way I would have made it through that. Oh my God.
No.
There's no way.
But I'm kind of not surprised that you wanted to do it yourself.
Yeah, I think it had been at so many points, I had given my power away to these people that were supposed to help heal me, and nothing they did helped. Everything that I found was what liberated me and set me free. So, it was, a lot of lessons learned.
Yeah. So you said the breathing part, was it like it came to you like a download, or was it like?
It was like a sudden download. One of the moments where I was retching, which is, there's nothing in your body. I'm dehydrated. There's no food, but my body's still acting like it wants to vomit, and you're retching and you're like there's convulsions. I can't even describe to people the level of pain that you experience when you come off of heavy opioids like heroin. The body will do anything to get you to take more of it. So it was in one of those moments, and it just hit me right in the head, where it was like, you need to do some breath. And that was where I created, you've probably seen it on my YouTube, the 60 seconds to freedom, which is just 10 breaths very quickly in and out of your nose, hold up at the top. And it gives your body a very quick hit of dopamine and oxytocin and serotonin. So in that moment, I'd hit the body, and then it would calm down for a minute, and then it would start up again. So I just found myself in this constant repetition of pain would increase. I'd move into that breath just to calm the body down. So it was a constant back and forth battle of just stay in the breath, stay in the breath.
Yeah.
Again, I had nothing else to do. Like, what else am I gonna do? I've got to get the body walked out of this dependency to all the chemicals and things that I had become dependent on.
But it is quite, I mean, I honor you for, yeah, being so incredible resilient
Thank you.
and determined to, because I can only imagine that, of course, that it would have been easier to
Right.
go back.
Oh yeah. Very, very, very easy.
Yeah. Shit. Okay. So and then after oh, we are going to go a little bit further in this episode 1 because I can't. I want to hear more of this. So what happened after this period of your life?
Yeah, so it was very interesting the way that everything kind of fell out from that
Yeah.
point forward. After about 8 weeks, I started feeling normal again. I could eat food and keep it down. I still had these addiction hits. I wouldn't call it like my body wanted it, but I
Mm,
could still feel like my body wanted
mm,
the antidepressants. My body
mm.
wanted some of the things. But after about 8 weeks, it was down to like a low whisper in my ear versus
Yeah.
the body like kicking me in the back of the head and
Yeah.
trying to get me to take these things. So it was a lot easier to manage from that point. And that was when I had noticed in that whole 8-week period,
Mm,
that's when yoga fell on me mentally,
mm.
because there was nothing I could do physically besides the breath. I was going to have to tune in to what I was experiencing. And I did. It was like dark night of the soul times 5,000,
Yeah.
where all of the things that I had been ignoring from my childhood, from combat, were forced right into my face.
Yeah.
And I had no choice but to face them, but
Mm,
to stare them down and to recognize that that doesn't mean these things have to go forward with me. These things actually have been some of the greatest teachers. And that's what kind of fell on me in that 8-week time was, oh, this is the side of yoga. This is the
yeah.
self-study, the svadhyaya, all of these pieces that allow you to take everything that happened before and
Mm,
use it as stepping blocks for the
yeah.
next. You can't reach that, okay, stand on the things that you've
Mm,
been through. Now you can reach it because you've been trained in a certain way to move forward using those things. So that was
yeah.
when I started my formal yoga training. I'm now a 500-hour yoga teacher trainer. I can train yoga instructors myself through the Yoga Alliance. But that was when it had started for me. I had, that it hit me. I was like, man, I'm going full east all the way. Yoga, qigong, breath work, and that was where I started. Was in the Eastern sense of healing and learning how to increase my practice as a yoga instructor. And even though I was trained to be a yoga teacher, I did it for me, so I could learn the ins, the outs, the yoga of
Yeah.
yoga itself. So yeah, that was what had started me on the whole path, was all of that darkness. And what do you know? It just forced me to look towards the light.
But were you doing it like, or I mean, were you in India or were you in US or
I was
where?
in the US,
Yeah.
and I was lucky enough
Yeah.
to be blessed with someone who trained in India for
Ah.
over 8 years. And his name is Mark Balfi Taylor. He's from the UK.
Yeah.
But yeah, he went to India for 8 years and studied with some of the best, yogis out
Yeah.
there, and did a lot of his training. So I was fortunate enough to find him in Las Vegas when I started my training. So that was my teacher. Still is. I love him so much. I
Of
go back
course,
every time I go back to Vegas, I see him.
of course you did. I was going to say, like you say, I mean, the teacher always
Yeah.
uh, appears, and also for everyone's listening, and this is coming through me right now, that when you listen to this episode, to go through your own life and kind of start to, wherever you are in your journey, connect your dots,
Yeah.
because there are teachers or gifts and if you believe in circumstances, okay, what can I say? But uh, I don't. I don't like.
Yeah.
I truly believe we. But hearing you speaking, like it's very clear. Like with everything you've been through as well, of course, you changed your direction like
Yes.
so many times.
Yeah.
So many times.
And that's
Okay.
it's really good advice that you give people too. And one thing that I'll add in for
Yeah.
folks is, what are
Sure.
you not looking at because it's too hard to view? That might be your best teacher because you're not looking at it. You're missing the blessing.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I also want to say like, mm, even if I'm not you, I haven't experienced what you experienced, but there is stuff in my past life that resonates with me. So my soul recognize, like mirror, like your soul and my soul, like I feel like a mirroring aspect there, which the first time I spoke to you, my nervous system was so calm.
Hmm.
And for also the listeners, wherever you are in your journey, that's how I describe when I know that is someone from my soul family. I just know it and
Yeah.
feel it. I don't, there's no logical.
Yeah, it's not here. It's here. You feel it
Yeah,
here. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Okay. So you did the yoga, but when did you kind of go into the neuroscience more and the breath work? Was that in
It was
between?
right about the same time because you
Yeah.
figured I spent a good year and a half on solid yoga training and breath
Yeah.
work. And it immediately like drove me because I was always a kid that took dad's drill apart, right? Or you took the remote apart, like, how does this thing work? Even though
Yeah.
you have no idea what the hell you're doing as a child, you still take it apart because you want to figure out how does this work?
Yeah.
So in those moments of training through yoga, immediately my analytical mind started kicking in. I was like, ooh, like what is that doing? Like I understand the energetic side, I understand the yoga side of it, but what the hell's happening inside of me physiologically? Like what's connecting? So in those moments is that was when I really started tuning into the psychology and the neuroscience
Mm.
side of it as well. Basically connecting the dots that these
Yeah.
people 7,000 years ago know more than we do now with
Yeah.
all the science that we have. Like as a neuroscientist, I can confidently tell you they knew more than we do now 7,000 years ago. That's
Mhm.
why we're doing research around these ways that they've been using for thousands
Yeah.
of years, and we're just proving what they knew already. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a very interesting journey, but that started all about the same time. Because, of course, as you're going through these things and energetically tuning in to the
Yeah.
magic of yoga and tuning into yourself, I couldn't help it. I was like, how do I connect with the 3D people that don't connect with the spiritual side of things? Like, how can I
Mm.
talk to somebody and get them started on this path so they'll
Mhm.
inevitably find it on their own, but they don't
Yeah.
speak the woo woo like we do. They speak science. Like,
Exactly.
how can I connect that for them?
I love it.
Yeah.
And I also want to say that I want to encourage everyone to go into, we will have the links, either your Facebook page or YouTube. I don't know what you prefer, but
Yeah.
on I'm talking for you now. But what I found on your Facebook page, like on the top, you have your welcome home method. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. I need to, and it said like 5 minutes. I was like, oh, I need to try this one. And I was blown away the first time because the breath work I've done before has been okay, either for me too long,
Yeah.
just didn't resonate with me. Okay,
Yeah.
let's put it like that.
Yeah.
And the shift came so immediately. And now I've been doing it, I don't know, almost every day for week or something like that. I don't know. But I also love it because sometimes I can be like, oh, why I didn't feel like I did yesterday. Okay, that's fine. But then I can like kind of hold my breath a little bit longer, kind of train my lungs. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
To really be even more intentional and like play with it. So I'm not like, what do you say, blaming myself or
Sure.
anything like that, but play with it, because I know that I have so much more to learn when it comes to breathwork. But I love that it's short and it is a result. So I kind of shared it with so many of my
I love it.
friends in a circle, and people are starting to do it. So I want to hear, and then I
I
will let you know.
Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, I think Facebook is a great way to start, because then you'll get some of the positive posts. If you need like a good positive word, you'll find that on my page. And then, as you mentioned, at the very top is that 5-minute expression, which is it's a good start. And what you're discovering, I love, because most people will discover that as well. And I tell people, you can go all the way down the rabbit hole with me, and I can train you how to not just do the breath, but teach the breath, how to rewire your nervous system further down. But if you only took that 5-minute practice and practice that 2 to 3 times a day for the next 30 days, you're literally rewiring your nervous system. You're rewiring your brainstem. You're rewiring your limbic system. You're rewiring the connection between your prefrontal cortex, which is the conductor, and the complete survival mechanism that controls everything inside of your experience. So I love that you found it. And that's what I wanted for people, for them to realize, like, it does not take a lot. It just takes dedication. That's it.
Yeah.
5 minutes, 3 times a day, and watch the change in your life in a very short amount of time.
Yeah. I'm going to start to do it more, like more than once a day.
Yeah.
I've done it in the morning. No, I did it in the evening as well. But I think from my perspective as well, right now I'm in the process of shit is coming up again.
Yeah.
And I believe also that I might have kind of intention, like subconsciously, intentionally awaken stuff that I want to release with your method. Because for me, it's also, since it's your energy when you speak, I tune into your voice. Like it's something with your voice and the resonance and the vibration of how you speak that resonates with me. So it's like you are with me here in Sweden, in
I
Stockholm.
love
Like,
it.
yeah.
I love it. And you discovered what I want for everyone. If we can create safety inside of your system, if you can feel that coming off of me, everything else will be allowed to come up naturally, which is what's so beautiful about the welcome home method. Even if you don't want it to, you find that level of safety that allows your body to go, oh, okay, cool. She can manage these things. They've been sitting down here for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Okay, we are soon going to end this first episode, but can you just also tell, because you have other, we will talk more about your breathwork and everything, but around that. But I know you have some other stuff. You have a membership I've seen as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And if people want to check out the full scope of what we have available, they can just go to thewillfulwarrior.com, and everything is right there, including my story and also connections to the YouTube and things that they can try out for themselves.
I love that. Okay, I have one question I need to go through. Let me see. So what would you, I actually wrote it down. How would you, from your perspective, first of, okay, I have 2 questions. The first one is how you are, I would say, changing the world in your purpose and mission.
Yeah.
What's bigger?
Yeah.
Mission?
Yeah. And this phase of my journey has been all about teaching this guy, which
Yeah.
is, I think, what a lot of us, as whether you're a coach or an entrepreneur or a mentor, even a parent, we look at these things as if we need to lead the other person first. And in this phase of my journey, I recognize the more I lead this guy,
Yeah.
the more the right people like you
Yeah.
drop into your existence and drop into your energy. And the next thing you know, yes, you're leading people, but it's more we're walking each other home, because there's
Mm.
things that I can learn from you as you're learning these things from me.
Yeah.
So it's this beautiful journey of what I like to call resonance. Everybody focuses on law of manifestation, but the big brother to that is law of resonance. What are you resonating at? And if I can
Mm.
resonate with leading myself first
Mm.
and living from that place of understanding my work, then the rest of it takes care of itself as you move
Yeah.
forward. There's really no effort to this life whatsoever if you just take care of this guy.
Yeah. I love that. And I love that you're doing that, because for me, that's been my journey as well. And I find, for example, if you wouldn't have done so much your own work and healing and everything you've done, I most probably wouldn't have resonated with you, to be
Right.
honest.
Right.
Yeah.
You would have felt it. You can feel
And
it
you
on
would
other
like
people.
the other way around, I would say
Yeah,
also. Other way
exactly.
around.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah. We would have bounced off of each other.
yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. So, okay. And then I have one other question, and then we are going to round up. But how would you kind of, what's your suggestion or advice for people who feel that they want to make a difference in the world, especially when it's a lot of shit coming up right now? It's a lot
Yeah.
of collapsing, but a lot of intense energy. Let's put
Yeah.
it out there. What would you suggest is something everyone who's listening could do, or
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah. Um, One word that I really work with myself on, and then again lead for others, is awareness. Just become aware.
Yeah.
Become more aware.
Mm.
Something pissed you off. Something they said made you very angry. Just be aware. You'll
Mm.
notice, yes, it's natural. You're going to judge them. You'll point fingers. You'll do all these things. Just know that that's okay. You're human. You're
Mm.
meant to fuck this up. If you're getting it right and you've got this figured out, please call me, because I need to ask you some advice. If
Mm.
you've got this all figured out, please, we need to have a
Yes.
conversation. So for me, it's just become more aware.
Yeah.
Be okay with being a mess. If there's one thing yoga taught me, it's okay to be a fucking mess in
Mm.
this existence. It's okay to not have it figured out. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be all of these things. But again, they're all there to teach you. They're
Yeah.
all there to point you towards the light, because we just inevitably come into this existence facing towards the light, but we have to forget to remember. So just become more aware.
Mm.
Notice when you get upset, and then instead of putting your focus that way, put it this way, and
Mm.
watch the shift that happens. You don't
Mm.
even have to do breath work. Just become aware.
Mm.
If you notice, wow, that pissed me off, and you take 60 seconds to just sit and feel into, why did what they say make me mad? Why did what they do make me mad? Watch the shift that happens in less than a minute in
Mm.
your body. Like, all of a sudden, you don't give a shit what that person said. You're
Mm.
thinking to yourself, like, where did that come from? And then all of a sudden your body starts to calm down. Your mind doesn't race near as much. So awareness is the key to
Yeah.
absolutely everything. It's the trick of this world. We just need awareness.
Yeah. I love it. And it's so true. Thank you so, so much for this first episode,
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
and for being part of your story. There was so much I didn't know, like
Mhm.
so much. And I also want to, I actually am in contact with another veteran, a woman, an Air Force like yourself. So I was like, oh my God, what's going on?
I love it. There's the resonance for you.
I do. And for everyone's listening, if you have any questions, any thoughts, reflections, we would love, both of us, for you to share them on social media, and tag us as well, so we can go back and for the second episode and
Yeah. I love it.
share it. Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me on, and Luana, we both love you.
Yeah, we do. We do.